Welcome, one and all, to the Defo Show with Luby here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network, brought to you by Water Cleanup of Florida. The rains are here, which usually would do a number on your home or office and would usually leave most of us, including myself, stressed to the gills. However, knowing that Water Cleanup of Florida is there, your home and office will be fine, and your stress levels can come down. All you got to do is call 954-579-0356. That's the number you call. Water issues, fire issues with your home or office. With well over 60 years of combined experience, Michael, Robert, George, their entire team are there for you to not only fix those issues, but make them look brand new because they have certified, insured, licensed contractors on staff. 954-579-0356 will be your cure-all to keep your home, office looking fantastic and your stress to go away. You can also check them out online, WCUFL.com, at Water Cleanup FL on all the socials. Believe me, I worked with them. They are fantastic. To me, the entire process, look, dealing with service companies can be fun, to say the least, and that I'm being very sarcastic. The communication, just getting a hold of them, getting them to come out, getting them to get the job done, getting it to look anything close to okay, let alone look brand new. Water Cleanup Florida, beginning to end, it's night and day from any service company I've ever worked with. 954-579-0356. If you have the schmutz, they have the guts. The Florida Panthers have been gutsy all year. Lately, struggling against some of the best teams. Give up a lead versus the Rangers. Give up a lead versus the Bruins. And now find themselves third in the Eastern Conference behind those Rangers and Bruins. The Miami Heat have been gutsy for 20-plus years. Not this year. This year has been an injury-riddled affair. Look, the last few years, they've been in the playoffs where, like, if they were just healthy, and they made finals runs, it was like if they were just healthy. Well, this year, the entire year, if they were just healthy, they play the Warriors Tuesday night, close game until the second half. No Jimmy Butler. No Duncan Robinson. No Tyler Hero. No Kevin Love. No Josh Richardson. All guys are supposed to be in their top 8 players. Not there. Eventually, the Warriors pull away, win by 21. The Miami Heat sitting there in the 8th spot. We're only a game out of the 6. And within 3 games of the 5 of the 4, right there to get a nice seed. Yes, they've shown you can move far in the 8th seed, but do you really want to be in the play-in? No, you don't. We talked about the Miami Heat's recent struggles, and what does that mean for them going forward? The Devo Show with Luby here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Bad night for the local teams. You had the Panthers go down. We're not worried about the Panthers, are we?
I don't know. They're playing worse lately. It feels like, I don't know if they're filling their oats. Their defense late. Look, they did it with the Rangers. They had a lead late, and they gave up the lead and then lost. Like, you don't want this to become a theme. Like, we've seen the really good teams the last few years struggle in the playoffs. Like, you don't want that to be you. You finally got to this place. You don't want to start filling your oats. Like, and that was the one good thing about them was their defense was strong. They were playing good on goaltend. The goaltending was strong, and then they also could score. Like the way that game went, they got up 2-1, then they allowed it to 2-2. Okay, they got up 3-2, then they allowed it to get to 3-3, I guess, with the penalty. And then 2 minutes later, it goes 4-3 with 2 minutes left in the game at home. Like, you don't lose that game.
That was ugly.
Like, you don't lose that game. The Heat.
Heat get blown out last night, but they didn't have anybody on the floor. Again, they're missing Butler. They're missing Kevin Love. They're missing
Hero, Robinson, Richardson. It's just and the Warriors,
and Robinson. Wow, so their whole starting 5 was pretty much.
And what's funny is, and I give Bam a lot of credit, they had a lead at half. That's what's weird about the Pelicans game. Was the same
Golden
thing.
State's, they're very much a fringe team. They're sitting there, number 10, and there's a good chance they get knocked out of the playoffs altogether, in spite of the fact that ESPN would have you believe they're in first place.
Yeah, exactly.
But Houston has won 9 in a row and is tracking right in there behind them. Now just 1 game back for the 10th qualifying position for the postseason. So that would mean no Steph Curry. They'll find a way to get Golden State in there.
They're trying. I mean, look, they have their whole team, and they won by ended up being by 21.
Yeah.
But I just, to me, I don't know what the Heat. I don't know I just don't know what's going on. Like, by this point, Butler literally was playing games. He was starting to play good again. I was like, okay, they would have kicked the Warriors' ass if they had their team last night. Like, they were in it until you could just tell the Warriors had their whole team and they were missing 5 dudes. Like, at some point, like,
you're getting beaten
you
by
get
Kayvon
overwhelmed.
Looney. It looks like Wilt.
You get overwhelmed and you just can't hang. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Like, Butler, literally, they listed it as illness. What fucking illness? He was out like the night before. There's videos of him like hanging out. He was playing the game before and then suddenly just misses a game. Like, there's 10 games left. They're only a game out of the 6. Like, what, to me, as long as they're anywhere from 1 to 6, they have a really good shot to do some interesting things in the playoffs. You don't want to be in the playing again. It's an extra 1 to 2 games. Like, you don't want that. Yeah, it worked last year for whatever the fuck reason, but that's not a look at FAU. It's not the putting your back against the wall strategy is not an overwhelming successful strategy.
Usually that team gets thumped. They don't make it to the NBA Finals. That was a very improbable run by the Miami Heat last year. And, like we saw, as you said, good reference, FAU. Did you not have a feeling that was not happening again in spite of the rhetoric that was going on before the season? That, whoa, look at this, man. They brought everybody back except for like 1 or 2 guys.
No, they're resting on their laurels.
Which was great. They did, but they weren't as good. And they got into a different conference. They got throttled a little bit there.
Yep.
Even the games they won towards the end of the regular season, they were very suspect in all of these games. It wasn't like they were a dominating force, which they were at times when they were rattling off the 21 wins in a row last year. That was great. But like with I mean, was there not a lot of optimism about the University of Miami coming into this season? They had a disastrous, catastrophic season where people were starting to think maybe Jim Larinaga doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. I think we have a lot of faith that the Heat will rally somehow, but they don't appear to have a championship team. They didn't last year, and ultimately they did not win the championship, in spite of the fact that we would have liked to see them carry off to Larry O'Brien. They weren't nearly as good as the Denver Nuggets.
No, the Nuggets, they weren't on the same level. But my problem with the Heat is I don't know what team they have. I actually, if they had their entire healthy team, which the rest of the East is finally getting,
yes,
I'd put them up with anyone because whenever they've had close to their healthy team, they've played well against everyone. My problem is they haven't had Hero, Bam, and Butler haven't played together the entire year. And it feels like Hero's, a lot of people are speculating that Hero's actually out for the year. They're just not saying it. Okay, with what? Like, he has a
very
foot
mysterious
thing?
injury.
Whatever
Lower
he
body
has.
injury.
Yeah.
They're doing it like hockey.
Like, he didn't tear an ACL or
They
an
don't
Achilles.
give you a body part.
Like, he's only played 30-something games. What does he have that allowed him at 25, 23, play less than 40 games? Like, what the fuck is wrong with him? Like, and that's the problem is at some point that stuff does catch up with you. Like, it just does. And the Jimmy Butler, he's not the competitive guy that we thought he was.
Did he lose his
edge? I don't know.
Drive?
I don't know. I really don't know because the fact that he's one of every like 4 games he just misses. Come on, like it's not injury. He's just missing games. You're in your last 10 games. You're not in a good
became
spot.
Kawhi.
Yes, but Kawhi at least had major injury issues in his career. Butler hasn't. I don't know what Butler's issue is.
And you need him to be that sort of driving force, catalyst leader like Brunson has been with the Knicks. Where you're saying, wait a minute, if that guy is going to play his eyeballs out like that, even in a losing effort, even in a game that appears to be hopelessly lost in the fourth quarter, he's still hustling. If you're going to set that kind of Heat culture example, I mean, I think it's been said many, many times and written about. I'm sure Dave Hyde has addressed this. Jimmy Butler has been anointed from the time that he was acquired to be that guy.
Yes.
And if he's going to kind of lollygag his way through the season, it's like, you know what, you're doing shows for years and years, and then you go through a period of time where you ask yourself, hey, am I mailing it in? What the fuck am I doing? Right? And you have to sort of re-examine yourself and say, hey, I need to put more effort into this. Otherwise, it's going to become obvious to people that I just don't give a shit anymore. And I don't know that that's the case with Jimmy Butler, but he would be a difficult guy to read anyway, Louie.
Yes.
The one thing that you anticipate with him and where he sort of was philosophically, I guess, throughout his tenure here with the Heat, he came here because he wanted to be challenged and he wanted to prove that he could be a guy that could carry a team. And then this year, his approach does not seem to reflect that kind of determination and intensity, right? Pat Riley needs to get in this guy's ear, but it seems like they're a little afraid to ruffle feathers with Jimmy Butler.
Because that's the thing. In years past, it actually felt like he did have injuries because he is a physical dude who's probably undersized for the way he plays. So he would miss games, but it felt like he was legitimately injured. They would name the injury, and he would be out. Then he'd come back and play. You're right. This year, it feels different. This year, it feels like he's intermittently just missing games. And it's like it is the Kawhi, Paul George thing where it's like, why is he out now? Like, what is he not playing now? Like, and it's the day of the game. Like, people are assuming he's playing, and then he magically isn't playing. Like, so that's when you're like, okay, is he just
No, it's weird, right? When you look
shit?
at the box score and you see, like, all of these guys were out. And
well, they're all hurt. Like,
no
Robinson's
Butler, no
hurt.
Richardson,
Love's
no Robinson,
hurt. Richardson's
Tyler
hurt.
Hero.
Hero and Butler are the two that I don't understand. The other three are actually hurt. Robinson, believe me, he wants to be out there. He was actually becoming a key cog. It's funny with just Robinson last night, they may have actually won, considering he plays really well with Bam. And when these guys are out, this year has become like their fourth or fifth best player. It's just you can't have that many guys injured this late in the year and play decent teams. The Warriors are still decent. They have talent. Like,
should you have printed on the ticket and the desire to be transparent? That you're buying a ticket tonight to see Golden State play Sioux Falls?
Yes, it was really what the team was. Haywood Highsmith and like all the Jamal Cain. I'm like, where are these?
Like, you may as well be in the Dakotas, my friend.
I'm like, what is happening? It's such a really weird year. Look, they've had injuries in the past, but again, like we were just talking about, they were injuries. You knew what the injury was. The guys would go out. The guys would come back. And the injury was done. That's not been the case this year. Tyler Hero's been out for a long time. It's not like he tore an ACL, tore an Achilles. Like, whatever injuries he had, usually the kind of injuries, you'll come back and play. He came back, played a little, and now he's been out for another 2-3 weeks. He's played less than 40 games as a guy in his early 20s. And this is every season. And he's supposed to be a top 3 player on this team. Jimmy Butler was always a guy that played. Yeah, he'd miss games here and there, but he played. Now he's just missing games, and we don't know what it is. Literally Tuesday night, he was set to play. People presumed he'd play. Then he's out with illness. What does that mean? He played the games before. He was out and about, supposedly, on videos on social media the day before. Now he's not playing with illness? Like, it's just weird. And they're a team, when they're fully constituted, I would put them up against anyone. The Celtics aren't scary. The Celtics just blew a 30-point lead the other day. The Bucks aren't scary. That was to the Hawks, the bad Hawks team. The Bucks just blew a 19-point lead to the Lakers without LeBron. Like, no one's scary in the East, but at least these teams are healthy, and you presume in the playoffs they'll play together. The Heat, we're under 10 games now, and they're still scoring around with lineups. It's still scoring around with injuries. We have seen this team come together in the playoffs. We've also seen the team 2 years ago be ravaged by, or 2 years ago, they were in the finals, and Jimmy Butler, who was hurt, and the whole team was hurt, fell short on a 3-point shot in Game 7 against the Celtics. Last year, they pulled it off in Game 7 against the Celtics and got to the finals. So, 3 years ago, following their finals appearance, they were injured, they were tired, and they got swept by the Bucks. That's what this year is starting to feel like. Not like last year. It's starting to feel like 3 years ago, where they can just never get healthy. And again, I gave Butler room. The Heat would give Butler room. But I figured, okay, now he'll play. 10 games left. Let's go on a run. Because whenever he's played hard, they've gone on runs this season. They'll go on a run. They'll find themselves for sure in a 6th spot. But the Magic are attainable. I think you're within 3 games there. 3 or 4 from the Cavs, Knicks. In that 3-4 spot, 4 or 5 games. It's all actually doable. Maybe you don't overcome it, but you make it interesting. They could get to that 5 spot. That's a perfect spot. You just want to avoid, like, the Bucks and the Celtics in the first round. Like, why make your life harder? And you want to avoid the play-in for sure. You don't want to play 1 to 2 more games. Like, you're already hurt. You're already an older team. By the way, you've had injuries all year long, and they're really not an older team. They're actually a pretty young team. But you've had injuries all year long. Every guy on your team has missed. Jovic has missed with injury. Hawkins Jr. has missed with injury. Like, everyone's missed games. Rozier's missed some games, and they just got the friggin' guy. Everyone's missed games. Decent amount of games with injuries. You don't want to play more games. So I'm like, all right, Butler will play the last 10. They're going to reel off some wins. They'll catch the Pacers. They have a really good shot at catching the Magic, because I think they play the Magic a couple times. Cool. All right, get into that 5 spot. Play a Knicks or a Cavs in the first round, both very winnable series, and then you would take on a Bucks or a Celtics. Cool. All right, fine. Makes perfect sense. And then Butler misses a game. And it's like, okay, so what is this year? And we don't know. It's a really weird place for the Heat, because they're always heart, hustle, guts, Heat culture. Heat culture. Look, I understand in this day and age, guys miss games. Fine, you're not playing 82. You're not playing 75. But you should play 65. Neither Butler nor Hero will play 65. And I give Bam a lot of credit. He's out there playing his ass off. The Heat actually had a lead at half. But eventually the Warriors, whatever the Warriors are, I know they're a 10th seed. They're around 500, under 500. But they had their whole team yesterday. Like, they're still all-star level guys at some point. They're still guys that play okay. Like, you're missing 5 of your top 8 guys. They have their whole team. That's what happens. They lose by 21. I don't know what. I'm sure Spoelstra's pulling his hair out because the talent's there for this team. Like, they are a better, more talented, deeper, more well-rounded roster than they were last year. They are. The problem is guys aren't playing, and I'm curious when that'll happen. We shall see. I think we're down to like 9 games left. Going to be interesting for the Miami Heat. It's going to be frustrating. I hope Butler finally is like, all right, let's go for it. We haven't seen that yet. And Hero, it's interesting. A lot of the Heat fans, a lot of Heat people are surmising he's just out for the year, and we really don't know why, but he's out for the year. They just won't say it. Why? Like, play him or don't. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Soon enough, I guess we'll find out. There's no better place for Heat news than right here. We talk each and every morning. A lot of South Florida sports, a lot of everything in the world of sports and beyond. The Devo Show with Luby on South Florida Live, the YouTube, Facebook channels. You can check us out on our national podcast we do each and every day, which is also sports. Some South Florida, but all sports for the most part. The morning briefing on nofilter.net, Caffeine TV. Just Google Caffeine TV, the morning briefing. You'll find all of our episodes there. We do a national podcast that's not always sports. I do actually a lot of outside of sports conversations. They're really cool conversations on the Believe Network, BLEAV.com. Search After Hours and our South Florida skewed content right here. The Devo Show with the Luby on the 5 Reasons Sports Network.
Hey, folks, Tony Segreto here. Let me ask you a question. What do you look for when you go out to eat? Good food, obviously, friendly atmosphere, not too loud, but good energy, reasonable prices, and a place where you feel comfortable. All those ingredients, no pun meant there, are hard to find unless you're talking about the Texas Roadhouse. You see, they encompass all of those attributes. Really, really good food, amazing atmosphere, good for a family, good for a date, or just a night out for yourself, and prices that will make you extremely happy. Their ribs, unmatched. Steaks, hand-cut every day. Everything, and I mean everything, is made on site, including their incredible bread. It's the one day, folks, that you can forget about low-carb diets. Trust me when I tell you, Texas Roadhouse, your restaurant, your destination when you say, where should we go and eat tonight?
These days, we're all looking for comfort anywhere we can find it. Thank goodness for Landlubbers Raw Bar and Grill in Plantation, because they are making sure you are as comfortable as possible. First of all, they're not only open for delivery and pickup. All you have to do is go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both pickup and free delivery. You're going to have the best wings in the world. You're going to have a great burger. You're going to have their amazing soups. Again, Landlubbers, Raw Bar and Grill. It's nice and easy. Just go to landlubbersbarandgrill.com for both your pickup and free delivery. Thank goodness for Landlubbers for making you always feel right at home.
From the newly renovated sports bar to the beautiful bayside views captured at the Tiki Bar, Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill has it all. Located at mile marker 104, the Big Chill also offers waterfront dining while experiencing breathtaking sunset views of the Florida Keys. It's simply the hottest spot in the Keys to cool off. That's Jimmy Johnson's Big Chill at mile marker 104 in Key Largo. For more information, call today at 305-453-9066.